All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay, guys, another very slow day for Bitcoin today. We just continued to reject from yesterday's resistance area, and we are starting to lose that ascending channel that I showed yesterday in the video, this ascending channel here. We are starting to lose this structure, but we really haven't broken it to the downside with volume yet. So this is still looking pretty corrective here, but we do have to watch out for that bigger dump coming in. You can see that money flow is leaving the asset again here on Market Cipher B. And if we zoom out to the 4-hour chart, you can see that money flow is now pretty aggressively leaving the asset on the 4-hour chart. Now, overall, the bigger picture we have been talking about, let me go ahead and clean up this chart real quick. Overall, on the macro time frame, we have been talking about this range here and seeing a sort of failed auction type price action above the range value area high and above the all-time high. And if we do re-enter back underneath the all-time high and more importantly the value area high, we could see that bigger dump to the downside, possibly down to 97 to 96.5K. And Bitcoin is still just slowly grinding to the downside. Not too sure if this is going to be that impulse that I've been talking about in the last few videos, but there is still a possibility for me that this is the impulse down in an A wave, a 5-wave impulse down in an A wave, followed, taking our range lows, followed by a 3-wave corrective move up, and then another 5-wave impulse in your C wave. But overall, Bitcoin is still just kind of ranging in this upper range here, this upper range that does look a bit distribution pattern like. And if this is going to play out as a distribution pattern, we expect a bigger breakdown and, probably a breakdown to the point of control of the range or even lower. It is holding on by a thread. Now, I would like to say we have rejected the pitchfork band of resistance. And we are really trying and kind of fussing around with the midline here, but the midline overall has kind of rejected us. The midline slash value area high is rejecting us so far. And with the money flow dumping here on the 4-hour chart, I do think we could at least come a little bit lower. Now, the targets of the wave 5 are down near our range lows. Let me undo that. Are down near our range lows down here around the pitchfork band, but we don't have to dump all the way down there for the pitchfork band. Really, the wave 5 could just SFP Friday's lows and come back up. Now, the more common target would be to come down to the pitchfork band right around 100.3K, but it does not have to do that. So that is something that I'm going to be watching here on Bitcoin. Let me get rid of this brush. And overall, just kind of slow day, another slow day. We continue to slow bleed down after rejecting from the macro value area high yesterday. And we do have to remember this was our first bearish backtest of the macro value area high after re-entering back within this range. And what we were looking for, if we were going to see the failed auction type price action, is a bit of a range and a failed breakout of the all-time highs of that value area high and a fall back with inside our value area. Then after that, a bearish backtest and a rejection of the value area. So far, it does look like that is playing out. It's just playing out a lot slower than normally we would expect to see if we were about to dump an impulse to the downside. I still am interested in taking the long from the lows of the range from that 100.7 to 100.3K area. And if we look at our ascending channel and we turn on that golden pocket that we were looking at yesterday. So first, let me zoom in. Let's go to the 30-minute chart. If we zoom into the 30-minute chart, that golden pocket that was right down in this area, we did come to that golden pocket, and you can see that we did see a small bounce from that golden pocket, but it didn't give us the reaction we were expecting. Possibly expecting if you wanted to remain bullish. So got a small bounce, but really off of that bounce, we couldn't even really make it back up to our pitchfork midline. And we are just hovering right around that golden pocket still. If we start to lose this golden pocket, which it does kind of look like we are about to lose it, we are forming right now like a triangle consolidation pattern. This triangle consolidation pattern that we're seeing here. And if we start to lose this, now these patterns are continuation patterns. And since we kind of dumped coming into this pattern, this could be consolidation here before a continuation of the dump to the downside. And so as long as we're below our pitchfork midline and our value area high of our macro value area, I do have to expect and have a bias for more downside to come. Now, that downside could only be to 100.7. We could SFP the 100.7 lows and then come right back up. But right now, Bitcoin's not looking the best here. You know, we are seeing some bearish signs on the chart as far as money flow. Let's go zoom back out to the 4-hour chart. Money flow looks bearish here, and we did print some bear divs on NAMI here, and money flow is about to cross over into the green on NAMI. We are not seeing any real bull divs here. And if we zoom out to the 12-hour chart, 12-hour money flow has now rolled over. And if we do make another lower low below 103, 116, we could see some bull divs come in on the 4-hour chart, which would be nice to see. But at that point, I would want to see either the SFP of Friday's lows at that 103K area or a dump down to 100.7K. Let me get this off here. There we go. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here on Bitcoin. Not too much else to talk about. On the daily time frame, our money flow does still look pretty healthy and pretty good. You can see money flow is rising here on the daily time frame on Market Cipher B. But our momentum wave is kind of blowing out here, just like I described it could yesterday. And what this tells me is more rangy type price action, because when your momentum wave's diving to the downside, but your money flow's still coming up, just means more of a range. And we could probably expect this range to continue. If it's going to continue through Friday, we could probably expect it to continue through the weekend. And next week, come next week, we could see a move. We want to see a move really tomorrow or Friday if we're going to see a bigger move on Bitcoin, that whether that's a dump to the downside or a pump to the upside. Now let's zoom in. Let's go on to our liquidation heat map. Let me just get back onto the hourly chart here. Yeah, still just kind of chopping around in this triangle. But if we look at our Model 2 heat map and we look at the liquidity very, very locally, we do have that liquidity that's above us coming up into like 107K, 106.8, 107K. And that is that is above our highs from yesterday. And really, these highs are going to be the key highs to break, because if we can form a higher low here in this little consolidation that we've been seeing since Friday and break above those highs, I do think that Bitcoin could continue much, much higher up to about 109K or even higher. And so we'll be watching for the break of yesterday's highs. Tuesday's highs, yesterday's highs. And if we do continue to reject and drop, like if we drop out of this triangle, I do think we're at least going to come for Friday's lows, if not coming all the way down to the range lows at 100.7. Let's zoom out on the past week and let's look at the last week of price action. Yeah, the liquidity is above us, right above those highs from yesterday, about 107K. And let's just go to our Model 3 real quick and let's look at Bybit. Okay. Yes. So as far as our Model 3 goes, we do have a little bit of liquidity that is resting right below us, which would make sense if we are going to come down a little bit lower to take out the Friday lows. And CBD and open interest, it is still kind of just chopping around here. No real bias on the charts. Let me get this guy here. All right, open interest has been kind of dropping for majority of the day. Just positions are closing out here, and our CVD is, we made a push from that initial touch of the golden pocket. You can see right here was that initial touch of the golden pocket that I described yesterday. You can see we did have some fresh longs coming in from that golden pocket touch. Down here, fresh longs coming in from the golden pocket, but now those longs are starting to get trapped underwater. Some of them are starting to get trapped underwater. So if they don't defend this position, we can expect to see that bigger drop down to take out Friday's lows, at least Friday's lows, if not further. That is honestly about it for Bitcoin, guys. Not a lot is happening. We are just still in our upper range. Let me grab that range again, and we'll talk about this range. So on Friday, we bounced from the point of control of the range, and we still are just chopping around within this range. If we do our golden pocket pull, the same golden pocket pull I showed you guys yesterday. We do have that golden pocket from our internal highs to our Friday lows that is resting around that value area high. And that could be an area where we do come up and reject from that area after taking the liquidity at 100.7. But in that case, I would be looking for a higher low to come in on the charts before continuing up to like 109 or even new all-time highs. We're just going to be monitoring the charts. We set our levels of interest and we wait for the chart to come to us. If we do have confirmations to enter trades at those levels, we'll enter trades. If we're kind of in the middle of nowhere like we are right now and just chopping around, we have to be patient and sit on our hands and wait for a trade to come to us. Do not try to chase trades in the market. Just let the price action play out and let the trades come to you. Okay, that is it for Bitcoin. Now, I do have a couple sponsors of the channel. First sponsor is BYDFI. It is a KYC-less exchange, and it is a VPN-free exchange. You do not need a VPN or KYC to log in to sign up for this exchange. All you need is an email and a password. They are offering up to 15% cash back on your initial deposit. You can get up to $1,000 cash back, and they're also offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses depending on how much volume you move. So link is in the description if you want to sign up. That's a way to help the channel. The second partner of the channel is MEXC. They are offering 10% cash back and up to $20,000 on trading futures trading bonuses depending on how much volume you move. That link is in the description as well. Both those are exchanges I'm partnered with. If you want to help the channel, that's a way to help the channel. Also, you can hit the like button just to help get the video out to more people. And then lastly, we do have NAMI down here. NAMI is a new indicator that I've been using for a few months now. It does help me get in and out of trades. It's for confirmation for entering and exit trades. And this indicator is running a 50% off special right now. So if you're interested in this indicator, link is in the description, and you can use Divine50 as a 50% off code to get access to this indicator, a discount on this indicator. All right, now let's go on to Ethereum. Ethereum is, okay, guys, so for a while now, we've been talking about on Ethereum coming up and hitting this golden pocket here into our pitchfork band of resistance. Now, it was above the value area high, but yesterday I did talk about how we had front run this golden pocket and that we could come up one more time to hit this golden pocket before we see our real big rejection to the downside. And let me go ahead and just hide this channel for a second. That channel's kind of chopped through, not really paying attention to that channel anymore. But you can see here, we came up, we finally hit that golden pocket, which was a TP level for me on the long, and hit into the pitchfork band, the top of the pitchfork band. You can see the last few times we hit into that band, we have rejected. So another hit into the band, another rejection, and we are just dropping now. After rejecting from our golden pocket, we are seeing a reacceptance back within our volume profile. And what this means is that we did see a deviation of the value area high into resistance. We knew that resistance was right above the value area high. And now that we are re-entering back within the value area, we could see that bigger dump down to the point of control, which you can see is where the bottom of the band is, around 2540. And if we do get down to 2540, we also have a naked daily point of control down there. Let's go ahead and turn... Yeah, naked daily point of controls there. We do have the naked daily point of control that just closed an hour ago right above us, and this could be an area where we do reject because you see that's where our VWAP closed as well. So it's a possibility that we continue to chop around in this here. We could come up here, reject from here, and then start to break down out of this smaller range that we've been in since Monday. But overall, Ethereum is rejecting from the golden pocket in the top of the pitchfork band. And now we're finding reacceptance back within the volume profile of pretty much the last month that we've been in here. And so there is a possibility we can rotate down to the point of control and the naked daily point of control along with the pitchfork band, the lower part of the pitchfork band. And if you guys remember or understand my videos, I talk about a lot how we can see chop inside these pitchfork bands or around these pitchfork bands. And that's kind of what we're seeing. After that big impulse that we've seen up on Ethereum, it's just taking some time to cool off, kind of chopping and ranging around resistance. The money flow doesn't look the worst, but you can see it is starting to kind of keel over here on the 1 hour. We did see those bear divs on NAMI coming up and hidden bear divs right before that coming up into that golden pocket. So that was definitely a sign to at least take some profit there, and you could have even shorted into this golden pocket with the bear divs we were seeing on the chart. If we zoom out to the 4 hour chart, you can see on the 4 hour chart, our momentum wave has topped out and money flow is starting to come out now on the market cipher B indicator. And if we look at the NAMI indicator, our money flow is also seeing some bearish divergence on money flow. Money flow is getting lower and lower on the 4-hour time frame as price action was getting higher and higher into our resistance. And so this could give us a bit of a push down, not a huge push down, just a push down to the point of control of the range. And then once it gets there, if we are seeing some bull divs, we could look for a long from that area. I am still expecting more upside overall on Ethereum, but that doesn't mean we can't push to the point of control of the range, the fair value over the last month for Ethereum. And if we lose the point of control, I do think we are going to come down to this green box down here where our anchored VWAP is, which has been acting as support in confluence with our last weekend's lows, which we never took out. We front ran over the beginning of this week. Or I guess that was the beginning of last week. Yeah, the beginning of last week. No, this week. I'm sorry, this week. Okay, so that is kind of what I'm looking at on Ethereum. This little bit of a rejection that we are seeing here on Ethereum could give us that drop that we're looking for. And rotate down to the POC. If we do our Fibonacci pull from the lows of Sunday to our highs that we made today, you can also see that golden pocket is coming in right around that point of control, right around the bottom of the pitchfork band and right around the naked daily point of control. So I would say this is definitely a local resistance that I will be interested in looking for a long on Ethereum, just based off of the amount of support that's here, and we are just kind of chopping within the range. Okay, so this is going to be golden pockets, POC, naked daily POC, pitchfork band. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this golden pocket now that we've hit into it. All right, and that's it for Ethereum. Now let's go on to Solana. Solana is starting to dump from our resistance that we saw a couple days ago. I gave you guys that resistance at around 165, 161 to 165, which was that wave 4 target. If we are looking at that big 5-wave impulse down. So let me go ahead and actually get rid of this real quick. And let's get rid of this real quick. So on Solana, we've been looking at this primarily as a 5-wave impulse, just based off of this dump here coming exactly to our 1.618 and bouncing from the 1.618. And then on the push that we saw from the upside from that, it looks like a very 3-wave corrective push, which tells me that Solana has a bigger, higher probability of this. This is an impulse to the downside, and we need 5 waves. So we could have just finished our 4th wave yesterday, Tuesday, at making the highs, and now we are going to be dumping. At least the very least target we want to see for this dump is the lows from Sunday, our weekend lows on Sunday, which was at that 1.618, so around 150. But with us starting to see that 3-wave corrective move here, and that's exactly what you want to see in a wave 4, and you want to see that rejection between the 0.382 and the 0.5. So if we turn those targets on, you can see that is just where we rejected, between the 382 and the 0.5. And now we are dropping. We have lost our local golden pocket. If we do that golden pocket pull from the lows of Sunday to our highs yesterday, we turn on our golden pocket. You can see that we are below the golden pocket now. We did try to get a bounce from the golden pocket, but it didn't really work. And now I expect Solana to continue down. And so if we're looking at those targets for Solana, let's do this and let's go to our wave 5 targets. You can see our target area is between 147.56 and 142.55. But we do have this box of support that's coming in between 146 and 143.5. And this is an area where I definitely will be interested in looking for a long on Solana. It could be the end of this 5-wave impulse playing out. But if we do see this 5-wave impulse complete here, I'm going to be looking overall for a lower high to come in to take profit on the long. So I'll be looking to long this with a take profit at your golden pocket. And then we'll go from there. We could maybe look for another short once we reject from that golden pocket. And if we just do some little bit of speculation here, if we go from the highs of the impulse to the lows, and I'm just going to put it on that point of control here, and we turn on our golden pocket, you can see our golden pocket would be coming in at the point of control of this upper range that we'd be seeing as well. So it would make sense that a 5-wave impulse plays out, bounce from our more macro point of control, come up in a 3-wave corrective move to our upper range point of control, reject, and then see another 5-wave impulse down, maybe down even, 123, 124 is where the value area low of that macro range is, and that will be something that I will be interested in looking at. Okay, that is it for Solana. Solana, actually, not quite. You can see money flow is coming out on the 4-hour, and it's about to cross over here on the 4-hour on NAMI as well. So money flow is not looking the hottest here. If we zoom out to the daily chart, our daily chart is starting to round out, and money flow is coming to the upside. But I think we could continue to see that grind down just a bit more. We have not really back tested the anchored VWAP from the lows, and you can see that anchored VWAP is coming in right now, right around the top of our support box. And that is an area where if we do come down to that anchored VWAP, that could be that bounce area, just like I just explained from the lower time frames. And then if we look at our hourly chart, on the hourly chart, we are just kind of hovering around the value area low of this upper range. So what I did is this range, I was looking at this as two different ranges. So this area that we were in for about 2 weeks is one range, and then this area is our upper range. And now that we are kind of breaking back with inside this area, or at least back testing this area, I just pulled those two ranges together just like I did on Bitcoin. And you can see that the value area low is right where we're hanging out right now. We're hanging out at the value area low of these two combined ranges. This might hold and we might get a small push up, but the way that the Elliott structure looks, I am expecting more downside on Solana. And if we do pump from this value area low, if we do hold this value area low and pump, then I will be looking at this upper range again. So let's just go ahead and grab this volume profile, and let's just look at the the volume of this upper range. And I would be looking at this guy here. And we would be looking still around that same point of control for potential rejection, a value area low point of control, between 170 and 172. Actually, we would have to change our fib too. Our fib would be a little bit higher, but I would be looking generally at that. There we go. I'd be looking generally at that point of control golden pocket between 172 and 174. There we go. Okay, that is it for Solana. Now let's go on to Sui. Sui is still grinding down within our bigger descending channel, and you can see that we are rejecting. We did have that SFP of the range lows at 311, and we did get a nice scalp off of that. We got a push up, but this push up is creating overall and lower high, and our bearish market structure is continuing here. And this does look like this could be still an impulse to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we would see that push down to the bottom of the channel to end it, and we could find support at the bottom of our descending channel where I would be looking for a long between 284, 285, and like 290 is where we could see a bounce. Now we've already grabbed the liquidity of the range lows, so the only liquidity that we have below us is the liquidity from that liquidity grab, which we could see like a 3 drives pattern on a higher time frame. This liquidity grab around 305. But I would expect at that point to come down a little bit further. We have our macro 0.5. Let's just zoom out to the 4-hour chart. And you can see that macro 0.5 is coming in at $3. And then we have a naked weekly point of control at 298. And I would be interested in looking at this general area here for a long. Money flow still looks pretty bad on the 4-hour coming out. And if we are setting up though for some potential 4-hour bull divs on Sui. If we do come down to the bottom of the channel, you could see that we could do something like this, create those bull divs, and then if money flow kind of starts to round out here, we could see money flow divs and some momentum divs on the 4-hour into the bottom of the channel, and that would be an interesting level to look for along. We did print hidden bear divs at the highs of yesterday. Actually, that was Monday. On Monday, those highs of Monday, we were printing hidden bear divs, which should have told us that maybe this thing was about to roll over and continue to the downside. Okay, XRP is still just chopping. We did bounce from our key support level. We had a weekly, a monthly, a value area low down around here, but we did front run the value area low. And I am a little bit concerned about that front run of the value area low. I am still long from 207, 2077. And I'm looking to take this thing up now. I don't know if I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but we do have a new naked monthly point of control because we are in a new month now. And we do have a new naked monthly point of control that is coming in right around 234. And that could be an area where we do see a rejection from that naked monthly point of control. But if we take our Fibonacci and let's just go from the highs of the move to the lows of the move. Okay, yeah, I still think the biggest level of resistance above us is between 241 and 245. That is going to be our anchored VWAP from the all-time highs. We have our large range point of control. So if we come in here, let me turn off this one and let's turn on our large range. You can see our large 6-month range point of control is coming in there. We have our anchored VWAP. We have the golden pocket of this push down so far, and we have a weekly level in there as well. So I think that is the area. If we do continue pumping on this push up from the value area low, actually, yes, we did hit the value area low of the bigger range. Did we? No, we didn't. I'm sorry, front run. Anyways, 241 is the area of resistance where we need to really look for a bigger rejection, 241 to 245. Now, if XRP continues to dump to the downside and we lose this value area low, I would be interested in looking for a long just from this $2 to 197 area because we do have a golden pocket there. We have a naked weekly point of control and a daily. But we have to be careful because if we start losing this value area low, what could happen is we could bounce from this support just to come up and bearishly backtest that value area low and continue to roll over maybe to the midline again. We really don't want to lose this value area low again. We've already had one fake out of it and was able to reclaim it and get back to the point to the value area high. Now we have rotated all the way back down to the value area low again. So we want to see this value area low hold, and we want to really make a push up first up to the point of control, but eventually we want to maybe after a small rejection break above that point of control and break out of this channel and start seeing that bigger push to the upside on XRP. Money flow looks kind of bad on the 4-hour. It's coming out just like many of the coins. NAMI, it's about to cross over into the red here. If we look on the daily time frame, our momentum wave is a bit concerning here because it does look like it's trying to roll over again. And one of the things that I will be watching for, because we did barely front run the value area low, is one more roll over, maybe just down to this golden pocket area here and see an instant reclaim of the value area low, which would create an opportunity for daily bull divs here on the chart. And so I would be interested in still looking for that long from $2 to 197. Okay, that is pretty much it for XRP. Let's now go on to Chainlink. Chainlink here is still kind of just trading within this channel that we checked out a couple days ago, and we did reject. So the big thing on Chainlink, let me actually just come in here, turn this off. So the big thing on Chainlink is we were looking at this pitchfork band, and we did say as long as the pitchfork band was holding as support, we could continue up to the $21 level. Well, we finally lost that pitchfork band of support, and you can see we fell through both levels and fell through the point of control of our bigger range that we've been seeing. This is our bigger range that goes all the way back to what is that? November of 2023. So quite a big range. And now that we are below the point of control, you can see we came up in this 3-wave corrective move to backtest that point of control. And so far we are rejecting. So I do expect lower targets to come in on Chainlink. And the first target below us is going to be that golden pocket between 12.8 and 13.1. I believe we have, let's see here. Yeah, swing failure pattern of our internal lows into that golden pocket. That would be an area in, if that doesn't hold though, we are going to come down to our 786. And I actually do like this area of support a bit better, this swing failure pattern. So this area between our, I'm just going to fix this box up a little bit. It is going to be the value area low of that macro range. We do have this internal liquidity grab there. We do have our 786 there, so it's no longer a golden pocket. Let's And then also it's the bottom of the pitchfork. And if we do come down to the bottom of the pitchfork again, you guys can see the last time we hit into the bottom of the pitchfork, we had a nice, very bullish reaction. And so if we come down, hit into that 786, it still could count as this being a macro one wave, a two wave down to that 786, and then we could see our big explosive third wave up to $22 or higher, 21, 22 or higher. And so that's I will be looking for longs at 13, or really, this golden pocket and then this level down here. This guy, yeah, naked weekly point of control. We have a weekly, we have a golden pocket and a value area low. So let's make sure they're naked weekly at 11.4 ish, and the weeklies at 11.328. But yeah, I would say okay, and we also do have a naked weekly point of control at 12.6. We do have to be aware of that. The thing is, with this push down that we've been seeing, we could be looking at this as a 1-2, 1-2. This is our big third wave. We have our 4, so we need a 5, and then another 4, 5. So this looks like it was a finished impulse to the upside. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulse, and now we are looking for that bigger correction down. There's got to be a way to look at this as more corrective price action. I mean, some of this does look impulsive in here. Let's see, that could have been a running flat. And then this is your 1, 2. Yeah, this is honestly kind of difficult for me to count here, but I just know that the levels of support below us are levels of interest that I will be looking, and I will only be looking to take those longs if we do see the confirmed bull divs on the chart down in this area. And so those are your levels for chain link to the upside or to the downside. And let's get rid of this now. Now, to the upside, as long as we're below, you can see we lost the pitchfork band and our point of control and our anchored VWAP, and we are below it. So as long as we are below our pitchfork band and our point of control, we can expect at least new lows to come into this golden pocket. But if that doesn't hold, coming down, and then if we can reclaim, this is not the highest probability right now, but if we can hold this and reclaim that pitchfork band, we could probably make a way up, all the way up to the top of the pitchfork band, or up to this naked weekly and weekly at 17.1 to 17.2. I am not going to be looking for that. My personal bias is to come down into this golden pocket. Okay, that is it today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got anything out of this video, please like the video. Please share it with any friends or family, and I will see you tomorrow.